Hey everybody, Ryan McKenzie here. We are live with I Hate Selling Live. I've got two guests today, Matt and Danny from Premia Fitness, and we are talking about how they moved their gym from in-person to online and then back in person again and what that whole transition looks like. Guys, it is really cool stuff. So guys, first of all, Matt and Danny, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here with me, guys.
Thanks for having us, man.
Thanks for having us.
How you guys doing today?
Doing great.
Awesome, guys. We got two questions before we actually dive into the meat of this. I think most people tune in for these two questions more than anything else, right? So I need to know two things. Well, before we do that, what's the weather like where you guys are at? Where are you right now? What's the weather like?
So we're in Fort Myers, Florida. The weather is sunny, probably close to 90 degrees, 95. I don't know. It's
hot, man. It's hot.
It's cooking, man. It's cooking.
Yeah, we're at Florida boys here. I'm in Winter Garden myself, and I went for a run this morning. It was like 80 something degrees. It was raining at like 6 a.m. I went out. It was humid and hot and muggy and awful, and I about died. But beautiful now, just hot. So, guys, what two questions I have for you to start with here. What is your favorite cereal, and what is something weird about you that nobody knows? Let's start with the cereal question. Matt, Danny, guys, Matt, how about you? What's your favorite cereal? Guys, it can't be healthy, all right? Don't go all like
I'm going to go with Cinnamon Toast Crunch for me.
Classic. Yes, sir. Danny, top it.
Go ahead. What you can go with the weirdness first.
You're going to go ahead with cereal.
Cereal. All right.
Cereal, yeah.
So I'm going to go with a family of cereals. I'm going to go with the Count Chocula, Frankenberry, and Boo Berry.
I forgot all about those, man.
I'm going to stay with that maniacal line with Halloween, but those are delicious.
That's great.
Chocolate milk.
You're talking to a cereal connoisseur, it sounds like.
Yeah, we spent a little too much time there. That's good stuff. I like it. All right, so we've got Danny's favorite cereal and something weird about him that he knows the whole family. We've got those knocked out in one fell swoop.
Yeah.
All right, what's something weird about you guys that not very many people know about?
For me, is I eat close to a pound of trail mix a day. So So I fast through the morning for the most part, and then I just start eating trail mix. I don't know. I'm usually working a lot on the computer after morning classes, that kind of stuff, and I don't even know why, but kind of has become a habit.
Do you buy your own trail mix, or do you make your own? I imagine this is not a.
I keep it close by. It's right here. I use preferred brand is Cars.
All right, Cars, if you're listening, guys, this podcast is up for sponsorship, right? So we could have a –
Yeah, that's right. That's the good stuff right there.
All right, pound of trail mix. Danny, what about you? What's something weird that not many people know?
I'm gonna dig a little deep here. I have this tendency at night. I start to.
Hey, it's a family-friendly show, okay?
Yeah. I have that thing with the mind starts racing a little bit, and I have a Sharpie next to my bed. And what I do is I tend to write a note. I'll put something in my planner for the day, and then I'll put sticky notes everywhere. And then I'll lay there and be like, I'm going to forget. Even though I never forget, I'll write either in codes or letters on my hand. And then, I'll have the occasional morning where I wake up with, I'll look in the mirror and I'll have the reverse imprint on my,
Danny, you're one step away from the movie Memento. Do you remember that movie where he had amnesia, all the tattoos all over his body so he wouldn't forget? Yeah. Hey, we're here with Matt and Danny from Premia Fitness. Guys, they're going to talk to us about their gym a little bit. And if you're on Facebook right now, or if you're listening to this later on the podcast, or on YouTube, it's all over the place here. Throw some questions in the comments. Right now, we are live in my Facebook group. That's where these all get recorded. If you're here with us, throw a comment down. Where are you from? What's the weather like there? What's something weird about you that not many people know? More importantly, if you have a question for Matt and Danny and about how they've been running their gym and how they've had success with it, they're in Florida, which is a little bit ahead of a lot of other states in allowing gyms to open back up. So they might be going through some things that you're about to go through, and you could ask them some questions. Maybe they could have some insight on what they've been doing and what they've found success in, or what they could help you out. So if you got questions, throw them in. If not, no worries. I'll ask a lot of questions as well. So thanks for joining us, guys. Matt, Danny, let's dive in here. Let's tell me your story a little bit, guys. How'd you get into that? Where did Premia Fitness come from? How long you been in the industry? What's going on with you?
Yeah. So, it's kind of, a long time coming. So I did a personal training, started about, I guess close to 10 years ago now. And, I had basically as many clients as I could have in a big box gym. So I wanted something more. So I branched off and I opened a company called Florida Strength Systems. And we were kind of a jack of all trades. We did corrective exercise. We did speed and sports performance stuff. I had kids speed classes. We ran boot camps. I had trainers in there doing personal. We were kind of just like a jack of all trades. We just really had, no direction, not or anything. So, looking for, a way to just basically have more direction, know who my target audience was. I kind of shifted more toward, whatever was doing the best out of and it was the boot camps. The boot camps were doing the best. So we just started putting more time into it. And we developed the kind of transitioned into the group class that we have now, which is Premia Fitness. And we just poured everything we have into it and just niched. And, our best members were, predominantly female and their husbands. And, so we now had a group of people like, hey, we know who we're after now. And
that's really neat, because I think a lot of people will tell you to follow your passion,
right,
figure out your niche, whatever, and dive into that first. And it sounds like you're like, okay, well, I'm maxed out. I want to go on and do something bigger. You didn't have like the specific demographic nailed down right away. You didn't have your niche or your passion nailed down. You just knew you wanted to. Sounds like you knew you wanted to help people. And then you kind of work backwards. I actually like that approach a ton because you see what works and you can dive into that as much as you possibly can. So, how did that happen? Like, tell us about the business. Where did Premia get birthed from with that? How did that happen?
Well, what happened was another thing is after that, around that period and everything, we were kind of deciding who we are and everything. We joined with we got in with a franchise and we ran with them for about 3 years. And the fees and whatnot, it was a big name, one of the bigger names, and Group Fitness, and the fees were just ridiculous and for what we felt like was offered. And so whenever our time was done with that, we decided to we made some changes, like shortening the workouts and doing certain things like that, a little bit less of the high impact movements, and just developed a system that's people can come in. It's easy to follow. They're in, they're out. There's not a lot of explanation so much on the front end. We do more coaching once the class gets started. We have, in our classes, we have every movement that we have over 1,000 movements, and every single movement's filmed and is in front of the member on a looping video on a tablet. So they're able to see that movement, and it helps with, another thing is I had 6 trainers at one point, and they would call in sick. And no one loved it like I loved it. And I a system that I could run on my own or run with minimal people.
That's cool. So you're down to, instead of having a bunch of trainers teach a bunch of classes, or as your classes get bigger, having to have a ton of trainers to responsibly coach people or demonstrate stuff, right? You're saying everything's on a tablet. So how many tablets do you have running in a class at a time, and how many trainers? How does that work?
So, there's 12 stations, so 12 tablets and everything. So it runs off of an app that we developed. So the movement for the day is, displayed on each station, and it's a looping video of whatever the movements is. And movements can range from kettlebell movements, slam balls. We have some boxes, dumbbells, sandbags, just a variation of equipment that doesn't take up a lot of space. That's just on the screen looping, and it ranges. That's cool. We work in like a circuit format sometimes. Sometimes we work in zones where we're like 3 zones of 4 stations, 4 zones of 3. So that's one thing. We were 10 stations initially. We added 2 stations, and we're able to have like a lot more formats, because with 10 stations, you can only do 10 stations weaving through in a circuit format, 2 to 5 or 5 zones of 2. Well, when we added the extra 2 stations, we can do 6 zones of 2, 2 zones of 6, 3 zones of 4, 4 zones of 3, 2 zones of 6 zones of 2, or weave through. So it gave us so many more formats we can run. So right now we have 15 different formats, 1,100 different, 1,100 range movements. So really it's impossible to have the same workout twice.
That's cool. And so it sounds like you're saying you're keeping it simple, but then there's also 1,100 movements. So it's not that, it's not that simple. It's not repetitive over and over.
Right.
Every day you come in, push up, squat, band row, like you're going to have a lot of stuff they can get into. That's pretty cool.
Right. And when we bring equipment in, it's like it has to, like, I think our rule is it's got to be able to do at least 50 movements, you know? So if it's like a piece of equipment that you can only really do one thing with it, it doesn't, you know, it's not versatile enough for what we're trying to do. So
doesn't fit your model. Yeah, that's cool. I want to switch over to Danny real quick. Danny, I know you got involved with this through just getting fit yourself, right? Like you're telling me a little bit about you and Matt getting together, but like you're involved with a lot of what Premia does, but what about your personal story? Like, where have you seen success with this? Like, what's your journey been like?
Well, from a fitness standpoint, I came down to Florida, to work with Matt and help develop some of the sales end. But I was in a lull in my life, and I ballooned up to like 260 pounds, and I was a bit of a gym rat when I was, up into my early 30s, not to date myself, but
guys, he's 87 years old. If you can't see him, he's 87 right now. It's amazing shape.
Yeah. But I can tell you, since about the end of February, I'm down 40 pounds, 42 pounds. So I'm
time out. So you're saying through the whole Corona thing, you've lost weight?
Through the whole Corona thing, I spent some time back up into New York, and Matt, he launched a great online program, and I just started hitting it hard every day, twice a day, 3 times a day.
Wow.
And, and there's a nutrition segment in that program, and I just followed the plan. And
that's cool. So talk to me about that, Matt. When you guys are up and running live, having some success, how many locations did you have open February?
5 locations. So
5
we have
locations open.
All our corporate facilities, and then 3 franchises. So
gotcha.
We just started the franchises. The first franchise opened in October, 2019. So we had 1 open in October, and then 2 open in January. So they just got open, really, and it was really like more January 31st, February 1st. It was late January, so they had just kind of getting running, and then shut down.
So what did you? I mean, I've talked to some people. Personal trainers, gym owners, corporate heads of big box gyms, right? And when this whole shut down, they're like, okay, well, we got to shut our doors, right?
Right.
A lot of people didn't do much other than some free Facebook Lives. They're canceling memberships. They're hoping people keep paying something as a donation or whatever. Like, right. What did you guys do when this whole thing shut down?
So I never reached out to members and like, hey, we're shutting you down. It's over. We're gonna comp your membership. I didn't really send anything out on it. Like what I sent out was my plan to, keep them moving. So I wasn't like, hey, would you like to? I just made the assumption like, hey, we're rolling forward. We're moving forward. So, having all the content we already had, 1,100 movements able to, having the ability that we already had to kind of, build out videos and all that. And so we just grabbed our timers that we had and basically embedded them into our looping videos. And we basically built an online, the same exact format workouts we do in studio. We built it for at home, but we only used our body weight movements and our dumbbell movements. So we eliminated all the kettlebells and the crap that no one's going to have, Yeah. And if they have dumbbells, we just gave some recommendations of bottles or gallon jugs if you want something heavier, or just soup cans. And most of it's women, so they want some lighter weight. And so yeah, we built out the what we would typically do as a consultation. As far as the nutrition part goes, I basically recorded myself doing that consultation and was giving that out. And we were actually signing people up. So we were signing people up through it. We added members through the whole thing too, because they didn't have anything else. And then finally, Sarah's sister that lives in Texas, she always, hey, I love my gym. She could finally check it out and see what we were doing. They were able to work out together. So we actually grew. Of course, we lost the facilities I keep track of, most of the corporate facilities. Early on, we weren't losing anything. We were just rolling right along. And then toward the end, and we were about 65%. We held on to, so we lost about 35% of members. We also built a little bit as well. The other facilities were the newer ones. They didn't do as good as we did. They were more in that 50% range. And I think it had to do with, us being like kind of the HQ facilities, and our facilities had been open for around a year, where there was more loyalty from our members, where the other facilities were just opened a month. Those people didn't really have that connection with them. So, so
yeah,
I'm assuming I don't know why they.
Well, I think, and if you're keeping 50%, 65% right now through all that, that's a big win. A lot of people are shutting down, and completely removing everything. So that's
right.
big, and you're gaining new people as well, and growing from that. That's congratulations, guys. That's big. I love it. It sounds like has that been the biggest struggle for you? Obviously, I think that's everybody's biggest struggle right now. Is there anything specific that came out through that was the hardest part for you guys?
It was more so just, like with our own facilities, we were doing better, but watching, our two, newer facilities who had just got open, just got running, they took out a little bit of loans to kind of get things going and everything. And then just kind of start, they had momentum, they were going, they took a leap of faith, and trusted us. And then I felt like, it was out of my control that I couldn't do. Yeah, that was a struggle for me personally. Like, so we tried to do everything we can to help them retain members, franchise fees for a time for them so that, they're not going to have to at least worry about that from our end. So that was the biggest struggle is seeing, building something and just getting it off the ground and then having just, being deflated like that.
Yeah, man, that'd be tough. Moving forward, what do you guys see the biggest need right now? Like, what are you working toward and what do you need help with going forward?
The biggest thing, I feel like the biggest thing is that, people, our franchises that, we're selling and stuff are people that were members that they love the product that, and then we have a few other people where we've actually sold 3 more recently that are in the works of opening right now. And so they believe in the model, but it's more so just, we had talked about it, a little while ago about, just less is more in a facility, so we're just people, you don't need all these bells and whistles, things that are going to cost you so much on the front end that aren't going to help you sell more memberships. They aren't going to help your members get better results, basically, helping educate, potential franchisees on how to run a nimble, lean business and really generate profits.
That's cool. I like it. So what, moving forward here, as you guys come out of this, you're open pretty much all the way, a smaller facility, right?
Right.
So how many members are you running right now in a class at a time? Like, what does that look like?
So at this facility that we're currently at, we're about 2,400 square feet. And we run a 24 in a class here.
So you got more than enough room to get people.
Yeah. And right. And another thing we implemented here is like, we're not using our sandbags right now. They're more of like a mesh material, so we've eliminated just that piece of equipment. Everything else can be wiped down really easily because it's either like vinyl or metal or something like that.
Right.
And then we've added, we used to run 30-minute classes and like we run a 5 and then a 5:30 because they're like 29 and 15 seconds. And the transition would be 45 seconds and we get a new group in and the trainer knew to get it right. That whole thing. So now we're if we have like a 5 PM class, the next class doesn't start till 5:40. So it gives 10 minutes to really get around the room, really wipe things down, clean up. So we are adding just a little bit more time in between classes to really wipe down. Do
you see that time frame? You're gonna go back to it, to the real quick transition, or do you find that you like that time in between to maybe talk to people, clean the stuff up? Like, what is your thoughts on moving forward? Like, how's this changed you guys for the better?
One thing I do like about it is that post a little bit more interaction post workout with members. A little building a little bit of a culture. They always would kind of to make their way outside and communicate and talk and, become, that whole thing. But, just me, talking, if it's a new member coming in, they can now come in between a class that I can get them signed up, get them acquainted, introduce them to somebody before the next class real quick. Cause we try to run with one trainer. We have all the technology in place to run with one trainer. But in the past, we use a kiosk system that we built out where people come in, they walk in for the first time. We greet them, quickly. They put their information in a kiosk and then we let the technology assist us and crank and just get going, So
that's neat.
The whole business model was built for just lean, minimum employees and, higher returns. But I like the extra time just to for the communication that we kind of pulled away with all the technology.
Yeah. And then last question that I've got for you before we wrap this all up, are you adding anything else to your model right now? Like one-on-one training? Or are you keeping this group, like you said, just are you adding stuff throughout the day? Some people want a more specialized approach, right? Like they just want to like, I don't want to come to a group. I just want to come one-on-one and work with people. Are you guys adding that in? Are you doing smaller groups at all? Or is you going to stick with what you got because this is what we do and roll forward with it?
Yeah. So franchisees have the ability if they want to, they don't like promote it and stuff as much, but if they want to run that, but I'm not, just because there's so much more to do as far as assisting the other locations and everything else we have going on right now. So, we just try to focus on there's so much value in the group class that people find it, once they get back in here, we haven't really seen a big scare of people. People haven't come in like, I want the request hasn't been there.
Yeah.
Like I know I haven't had one person in this whole return say, hey, I'd rather do personal training than that,
Yeah.
So, I think the ones who, want to stay away more or, just aren't coming back now or aren't going to come back at all. I don't know, but I just haven't had that request yet.
That's good. That's cool. It's good to know, guys. So real quick, how do people get a hold of you? Say like, I need to work out with you. How do I get to a Premia Fitness and sign up and work out online? Or are you still offering the online thing? Is that something you're keeping?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're keeping that. And so we're going to continue to keep the online program and keep that rolling. And people love it. It's the cool thing is I think that a lot of people didn't really even know about online, didn't know they would even enjoy it. And I think it's going to crank the online game up just because people are like, hey, I kind of like it. It's not a day thing, but it's like, hey, on a Friday, if I don't want to wake up at 5:30 a.m., I can turn the computer on and get a quick workout once a week, for that one day a week. I think
I can imagine
for that.
Yeah, like if I'm stuck at work and I've got an hour lunch break, but I'm going to be stuck in the office late meetings, I can work out of my office at a lunch break or something, or if I got kids at home, I can't. That's brilliant. I think you guys have stumbled onto something where you weren't planning on doing that you had to change into doing, and like now all of a sudden you've got something where you've got two models that can really support your members in a big way. That's huge.
And we've even looked into like starting maybe doing a membership where they're going to get the online, but maybe only 2 days a week in studio, because that was our original thought of opening back up. Like, hey, we're only going to limit people to they're only allowed to come into the studio twice a week, and then they get the online program still. And then, but we just kind of went ahead and rolled it all out together. But so that's another option that people can do if they wanted to kind of keep as they if some states are more they're going to
I love that. That's interesting.
More strict.
So say I'm a trainer and I have been furloughed from my big box gym, and I've got bigger plans than going back to work for them, right? I don't want to, like, you guys obviously, you said you have some franchises. How does that work? Is it something that I can talk, like, how can they get a hold of you? I don't want you to have to put a big sales pitch together here. I wasn't asking you guys to do that, but like, how do they get a hold of you guys if they are interested in like, hey, what does Premia Fitness look like? It seems like something I could do.
They could reach out to us through Facebook, either our personal pages or just the Facebook page, the Premia Fitness Facebook page. If you go to premiafitness.com, there's a link on there as well if you want some franchise information and how that works. So it's
PREMIA fitness.com,
yeah.
1E, premiafitness.com. And otherwise, guys, reach out to me and I'll put you in touch with Matt and or Danny, and we can make that happen. Guys, this is awesome. I love it. I love what you're doing. Any final thoughts for everybody here? Like, what would you say to people that have not opened back up yet fully or have not opened back up with classes? Like, what's the biggest thing you guys are focused on?
Not getting discouraged on just the negative, everyone's like the gym industry's done this and that. And it's just, I was on a call with a franchisee yesterday, like, nope, let's go. Let's pick it back, cause we're running a challenge June 1st. And I sent her to send to members, so go into your database, send this member. It was just like, hey, we're doing a June 1st challenge. I really want you to be a part of this. What do you say? It was like a very just personal, easy message. And she sent it to everybody and she had like 10 responses. And I'm like, there you go.
That's cool.
And it's just don't be, just because there's a few people out there negative and thinking the industry's dead, and just don't feed into it. Just, and
they're the loudest ones too. They're going to make the biggest noise.
We're in this because we care about people and we want to change their lives. Let's just continue to do that. Don't worry about the nonsense.
That's huge, guys. Go ahead, Danny.
No, I was just going to say, we put a lot of, we get our hands dirty, so to speak, trying to expose our brand to members and potential franchisees. And, people that are going to get exposed to our business model are going to find that it's not just we're trying to, sell you something. We personally take a much more delicate approach. I mean, I think the thing that we do well is we care. I mean, if I'm going to engage with you and we're going to spend some time to open a location, we're going to build a relationship and a lifelong relationship. I mean, I believe in the product so much. I'm in the process. Not only am I the franchise development person for Premia, but I will be a franchisee too. So
that's it, man. That's cool.
Hold hands and go through the process together. So
yeah, man, I love this, guys. I know, Matt, you've been 25 minutes here without any trail mix, man. We gotta let you go. Get back to that.
I'm hurting.
So I know you're just jonesing. You're like, give me
right here. I'm about to dig in.
Matt and Danny, good guys. If you need them, reach out to them. If you want their contact info, premiafitness.com, or just shoot me a message here on my Facebook page or on the podcast page here, and we'll get you in touch, guys. Thanks for coming out, guys. As always, everybody, if you want a copy of the #1 best-selling sales book for fitness professionals, I Hate Selling book, you can get it for free at IHateSellingBook.com. Check it out right now. Grab it.
Great book, by the way.
It's the best book I've ever written.
The best book going.
I'll tell you that much. Hey, thanks for coming out, guys. Train smart, live well. We'll see ya.
Thanks, Ryan.